is famous for her poems and collection of poems. Many works were published posthumously. You can't imagine the amount of love she has in her heart. She says, I love you to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach. She tries to express her intense love for her husband to be, that is, Robert Browning, who is also a poet. Both of them are poets. Hello students, I am Anil, Assistant Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So in this session, we are going to see a poem, How Do I Love Thee, by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, for the students of B.Ca. second semester. How Do I Love Thee, Elizabeth Barrett Browning. So in this session, what are we going to look at? We are going to look at the poet, the theme of the poem, and the summary of the poem. Elizabeth Barrett Browning, she is an English poet of Victorian era. She is famous for her poems and collection of poems. Many works were published posthumously. Her poems were published posthumously. She is the wife of Robert Browning, one of the famous poets of English literature. And she is elder to Robert Browning, and she has tried to express her love to her husband. So that is the theme in this poem. The theme is she tries to express her intense love for her husband to be, that is, Robert Browning, who is also a poet. Both of them are poets, and this poem tries to emphasize on the spiritual love. In what all ways can one express their love to their lovers? And it is about pure love without expectation and personal gain. So when do we consider somebody's love is very pure? When there are no expectations. So here she has tried to express her love to her husband, Robert Browning. So this is a sonnet. It has 14 lines. She has tried to express her love to her beloved. We will get into the summary of the poem. How do I love thee? The poem starts with the question, how do I love thee? She has asked a question, how do I love you? Then she has answered her own question. Let me count the ways. She says, how do I love thee? And now I am going to count the ways in which I love you. I love you to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach. So you can't imagine the amount of love she has in her heart. She says, I love you to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach, when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. So when my soul feels out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace, so to that extent I love you. That is the amount of love I have for you. She expresses that to the height, breadth and depth that my soul can reach, being in the ideal grace. Then she says, I love you to the levels of everyday's most quiet need. What is the most quiet need? Her emotional state, her psychological state of being in quiet and enjoying her time. I love you to the level of everyday's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. By sun and candlelight, which means all through the day and night, all through our emotional state, all through our needs. I love you freely as men strive for right. So she has expressed the entire generation of people who have fought for their right. So their dedication, their desperation, their fight towards gaining their rights. So that is the amount of love I have. I love freely as men struggle for rights. In one single sentence, this woman has expressed the generations of fight and strife for freedom. I love you purely as they turn from praise. So I don't want to praise the amount of love which I have. I keep it away, but I love you purely. I need not praise my love. Such is the amount of dedication she has. That is the amount of love she has for her lover. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. In these lines, she talks about I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and my childhood's faith. She says, I love you to the extent of the experience that I have gained in my life. People have represented their griefs, their faiths, everything, and I love you to such an extent. So that is the amount of love she has. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saint. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and if God chose, I shall love you better after death. So in these lines, she has tried to express, I love thee with the love I seem to lose with my lost saints. She says, I have great faith in saints and I also love you like such faith. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. I love you with all the emotions that I have, joy, sorrows, griefs, happiness, friends, everything put together. I love you with such intensity of all my life. And if God chose, that indicates, and if God chose me, if He takes my life away, then what am I going to do? I shall but love you better after death. Even after death, I am going to love you. Such is the dedication, such is the intensity of her love towards her lover. Through all these things, she has tried to express her love. So she is counting the ways. She is telling her how she loves her beloved. Showing all these ways, she has told that even after death, I am going to love you. So this is how she makes an impact on the love she has. In this Petrarchan type of sonnet, Elizabeth Barrett Browning has talked about 7 major ways. These 7 major ways are very important, which covers the entirety of her love. So keeping this thing in mind, she talks about her love. How do I love thee? The first question she asks, and then she goes on expressing 7 different types in which she loves. These 7 different types are not just 7 different types, but it has the entirety of different ways she can express her love to her beloved. She starts from saying that she loves to the depth, height, and breadth into which her soul can reach. And then she also expresses the strife of men for freedom. And her love is not for praising her own self. It turns away from praise and it is true. And then she says, she loves in a way where her beliefs are strong, like her beliefs towards the saints, her emotions, her loneliness, to feel her emotions during the day, during the night, which are represented by sun and candlelight. And then she says, even if God chose her death, then she would love even after her death. So this is the intensity of her love towards her lover. With this, we shall meet in the next class. Thank you.